Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today we're going to work out together with weights, and it's called Strength Training and Osteoporosis My Way. And what does that mean? Well, when I was 60 years young, I was diagnosed with osteoporosis. However, I dramatically altered my lifestyle choices, including my food and exercise, to include a lot more plant-dominant foods. I eat a whole food, plant-exclusive lifestyle, but I also engage in the lifestyle, I should say, which includes exercise, and I went back into strength training and resistance training, weightlifting, anything that you want to call it, I did it. And it took me 3 full years. This was no miracle cure, nothing like that, folks. It took me 3 years, but I was able to downgrade the diagnosis from osteoporosis to age-appropriate osteopenia. And so it's just one of my many workouts that I did and continue to do to make sure I maintain this status and I don't become osteoporotic again. And so it's just my anecdotal approach. All right. Now, the accessories we'll be using today: a sticky yoga mat, a weight bench. Now we'll be doing an incline chest press on that. So if you don't have a weight bench or workout bench, then you can work out on your floor or on your bed if you can't get down to the floor. We'll also be using an array of weights. Let's see, I'll be using between 8 and 25 pounds. And I'm going to level up with you today, meaning I'm going to work a little bit harder on a couple of the exercises. And when I do that, I'm going to tie in some good old-fashioned wrist weights. And in each cuff, I have it up to a pound and a quarter, because I recently went up a pound, but I'm like, okay, I could try another quarter pound. That's why I like the old-fashioned cuffs, because you can go quarter pound increments, which I find to be a really great approach for this demographic. We'll also be using a fit ball. It might be also called, you know it as a Pilates ball. It's a 9-inch ball that doesn't burst. And when you do use the ball, folks, make sure that the plug doesn't point into your skin. We'll also be using, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the exercises down on my knee. So I just want support for myself. However, it's going to be when I don't use any additional resistance. When I stand up, though, I will be using the weights. And I'll be using 2 wedges, and these are pretty cool, all right? So the reason is because in one of the exercises, it's called an elevated heel football squat. I want to be elevated and my feet in total plantar flexion. The only way to be in pure plantar flexion is up on a wedge. So that's plantar flexion. That's dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. However, I'm going to show you a way how you can hack that, because not a lot of people have wedges available immediately. So you're going to see the orange heads of the weights. They're the collars of the weight. So I'm going to put them down side by side. I approach both the wedges and the dumbbells from the front, and I'm going to step my heels up onto the bars of those weights. And I'm going to work from here. Now, is it 100% plantar flexion? No, because the toes are bent, but it's a pretty good way of getting around it, though, all right? And finally, for those of you medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo, I chose an incline chest press on purpose so that the head is elevated a bit. But if you need a little bit more elevation because you don't want a blood rush to the head, then you just fold up a towel and build it up a little bit higher. And let's see what else. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I covered all the accessories. Yes, now this leads me into the medical disclaimers. Folks, the sticky yoga mat, the fit ball, and maybe even the balance pad, I think so, are made or mostly made out of latex. And so what you want to do if you have a latex allergy is look for non-latex or latex free. more medical disclaimers. Now, if you have any of the following issues, but these disclaimers, well, the adjustments and the modifications that I'll be showing are not only exclusive to these issues, okay? But if you have any of the following issues, I invite you to not participate right away, but to preview the video first. And always look for what you can do, folks. Always look for that. I promise you there will be something. But if you're still unsure after you preview, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well and then help you make an informed decision. And these issues are the ones that I'm including, but not exclusive to, would be any back spine issue, meaning if you've been told not to forward flex the spine, bend down to pick up something. Oftentimes this is associated with osteoporosis, or even postural deviations that can be associated with osteoporosis, but not exclusively. So if you're kind of hyperkyphotic, hyperkyphosis, which is sort of a hunched appearance. If you're medicated or not for hypertension, high blood pressure, if you have vertigo, GERD, if you have ever had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or a stroke, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, golfer's elbow, which is medial epicondylitis, or lateral epicondylitis, which is tennis elbow. You folks in particular, I'm going to state it right now, because the symptoms are so individualized, you really want to talk to somebody if both bicep and tricep work are appropriate for you or not, okay? And if you have any knee issues, and pinch nerve or rotator cuff issue within the shoulder. Now, back spine issues, knee issues. I'm going to show you something. When it comes to doing squats or like deadlifts or something, well, the deadlift, no, but squats, yes. Pardon me, I have to correct myself. So with the squat work, you can use the wall for support, right? So you're not going into a forward flexion, you're working those thighs. If you have hyperkyphosis, you're gonna wanna put a pillow or towel rolled up behind your head and press back into that pillow. With the knee issues, you just don't go down as low, right? So you just keep it a shorter range of motion. All right, now, let's go, let me just move on here for you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for the moment. So now, what we're going to do is, as far as the sequence we're going to follow, we'll be doing sets. A set is a group of repetitions, and typically from this platform, it's 8 to 15 repetitions. And what we're going to do is to accommodate all of you with the pre-existing issues, those of you who are brand new to exercise or brand new to strength training, I'm going to demonstrate every exercise. We have 10 of them, and we're going to do a full set of each. And we're going to consider this our warm-up, but for some of you, it might be the workout. We also do have a warm-up and cool-down video on the channel as well. And for those who are 55 years and above, you do want to warm up for 10 minutes prior to a workout. Then what we're going to do is superset. That means we're going to go back to those 10 exercises, but then I created 5 blocks, and we'll be supersetting each block back to back twice. All right, so let's get you started. It's a lot in the beginning, don't worry. I put a timestamp so you can watch it once and then skip to the beginning of the workout when you come back for a replay. So we're going to do sumo squats with lat pull down, short for latissimus dorsi. And the sumo squat is wide-legged. Now, I first want to show you a basic squat. So this is an athletic ready stance, basically to get everything going with each exercise. And I'm going to place my hands to the inside of the pelvic bone. The knees are soft, the belly button is in, and I'm lining up my ankles to knees to the inside of the pelvic bone. Now I'm going to turn to the side. So here we go with the squats. If you need wall support, go for it. Lift the toes inside the shoes. I'm going to inhale, sit back into a chair. Exhale, come up, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze the quadricep muscles, engage. Now this is a posterior pelvic tilt, also known as a pelvic tuck. And now the difference between a basic squat and a sumo squat is the width of the legs. However, what if you're kind of tight? You can't go so low. That's all right. you can take it into a shorter range of motion. Now, sumo squat. Feet wider than the hips. I'm going to show you, for those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo, you're going to bring your arms out. And when it comes to an exercise called the military press, shoulder press, I want you to do this one. So my arms are about 10 to 15 degrees away from my hips, and I'm going to bring the arms up to shoulder height, delt abduction, and then down, adduction. Shoulder abduction going away from the midline, shoulder adduction going toward the midline. The reason why you don't go all the way in is because if you start and stop the movement here, you're going to bring in that rotator cuff. So those of you with pinched nerve and rotator cuff, this is really important that you not go all the way in. We're going to tie these arms in with that sumo squat. So I'm going to go wide, turn the toes out. So the legs are laterally rotated, externally rotated, toes same line as each other, toes lifted inside the shoes, and the knees will be tracking over the second to third toe. Here we go. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, up, pelvic tuck, squeeze. So I'm pushing up through the heels, driving the work through the gluteal muscles. Very important to keep them strong. Folks, people fall because they have weak gluteals. That's not the only reason why they fall, but it's one of them. Sometimes it's pretty much tragic outcome with that. Exhale. Now I lift the toes inside the shoes so that I'm training my shin muscles. Excellent for the knees and excellent for your balance as well. Take your time. Inhale and exhale through the nose. I'm going to pause at the peak of the contraction. Pause. See? Inhale. Exhale on the effort. One more. Hold here. And now the next exercise is called a lat pull down. However, if you're medicated for hypertension or not medicated, sometimes you've been told not to lift anything heavy overhead, all right? And also for TIA and stroke, you might want to pay attention to this particular approach. So I'm going to bring the arms out like this, and this is a wide grip, and I'm going to pull. So I'm doing a back row. Puff up the chest, the scapulae, the shoulder blades are drawn in toward each other. So that's your modification. For the rest of us, I'm going to grab my balance pad, come down onto one knee, back foot tucked under, okay? And bring the arms up, and as if I'm pulling a really super heavy bar down toward me. Puff up the chest. Take your time. Don't go flying through this stuff just because there's no resistance. You need to add your own sense of resistance. Bring that imagination in. Pull this heavy bar toward you. You want those strong back muscles. Bend down, pick up something, get on up. But you also want to be able to push, pull. And all these movements, well, there are many muscles that work together, folks. Exercise is never reductionist. It's not just back muscles. We've got posterior deltoid. We've got bicep involved here. Couple more repetitions. Exhale on the effort. Here's the effort on the pull, hold. Now I bring the hands to the thigh, toes still tucked under to stand on up. My next round is going to be elevated heel fit ball squats along with inclined chest press. So for this one, I am going to use the wedges, the ball, but not the weights yet until we get to the superset portion. Okay, grabbing my ball. Between the thighs. Squeezing it. Now, unlike the sumo squat where I sat back into a chair, I'm going to lean back toward the wall. So now the knees are pointing down rather than straight out in front. Typically, people with knee issues kind of like this one. Now I'm in full plantar flexion, which means it's great for the calf muscles, the plantaris soleus and the gastrocnemius. Working those hip adductor muscles, inner thighs with squeezing the ball. Oh yeah, quadriceps, glutes, squeeze the gluteals on the way up. When I don't have the weights in my hands, and this would be called a suitcase grip, for me, I can go down lower without the weights. But when I add the weights, well, it's going to change, right? The range of motion will be different. Just don't let the arms swing out in front of you when you have the weights in your hands. One more. Inhale, exhale, up. Okay, now, the next exercise is the incline chest press. You saw how to stand with the athletic ready stance. I'm going to stand a little closer here to the camera. So we're going to do an incline chest press. You can stay upright or incline. So wide grip. Here's the upright, straight out in front. Exhale. Notice all of this working here. Pectoralis, front deltoid, tricep works. But if you do want to get a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be on the incline, lean back a bit and push. Now watch it with TIA or stroke. Try not to lift your head. So that's why I prefer you folks head neutral or completely upright. Exhale on the effort. We got to push a heavy door open. We have to push a heavy grocery cart. We have to push our beautiful grandchildren in their stroller. Exhale. Tricep helps. Front delt along with the pectorals. One more. And we're going to lower the arms down. Now, the next exercise is going to be, the next, I should say block, will be Romanian deadlifts with a military press. So let me put these out of the way for the moment. So a Romanian deadlift. I didn't name it that, folks. That's the name of the exercise. So I'm going to first show you a deadlift. And oftentimes people get a deadlift with a squat confused with each other. So it's the same setup. So I'll turn to the side. Let's remind you of the squat. You sit back, inhale, exhale, up, squeeze. Well, here's the deadlift. Hands on the thighs. We hip hinge and exhale up. Now, this exercise, forget about it with back spine issues, please, unless you've been told you can forward flex. I'd rather you do a sumo squat, an elevated heel football squat, or back to the wall, all right? So we keep the chin up and exhale. One more like this, and then I'm going to show you Romanian style. So here's the difference. Romanian, the feet going to be wider than the hips. I'm going to come a little closer. Just want to make sure you always can see those sneakers. Okay, so here we go. Now, why do we keep that chin up? I want to make sure that the cervical spine of the neck, the lumbar spine of the low back are doing their natural lordotic curve. And that lends itself to this lovely back spine extension work. Maybe this is your range of motion. That's okay. You're bending the knees. You're hip hinging. Don't worry. You don't have to go super low. Pause at the peak of the contraction. Make sure you've got that posterior pelvic tilt, the squeezing of the glute, the engagement of the quads. Stop and rest when you need to. Stay hydrated, folks. Yes, this is all about bending down and picking up something. Notice some of the activities of daily living are similar for different muscle groups. Different exercises. One more, keep those toes lifted. And hold here. So now military press, remember the delta abduction, adduction I told some of you about. So here we go. I'm going to face straight on for you. My back toes are tucked under. Okay, military press. Exhale up. This is a wide grip. That's the narrow grip. We're going wide. So let me tell you something, folks. Females are typically very, very weak here. And this is an issue when you need to put something away up in a high shelf in a closet. Maybe bring it back down. You don't want anything crashing onto you. We got to help you strengthen those shoulders. But for pinched nerve, rotator cuff or medicated or not for hypertension, I would do the delta abduction adduction instead of this if you've been told not to lift anything heavy overhead. We're going to go for 2 more. Exhale, up, pause, up, pause, and down. Next round, tricep dips with bicep curls, except tricep dip is a compound movement and it's pretty hard to show you this without bending the wrists and using body weight and all of that. So a modification or just simply another exercise you can use for carpal tunnel syndrome, because this is wrist extension. We don't ever want you to go into wrist extension for carpal tunnel. And also golfer's tennis elbow. Again, please have this checked both for tricep and bicep work. So bent over tricep kick, that is the full out exercise, not great for back spine. So what we're going to show you here first is hands alongside. We're going to stay upright and extend. So elbow extension is performed by tricep. Hands to the waist. Notice the elbow is a hinge here. Elbow is a hinge joint. Now, for some of you, you might want to do the bent over style. Chin up for everybody. But back spine, stay upright, please. Two more. One more. And slowly up. Now, I'm going to stand closer to the camera here for you. You know the position of the feet. We're going to do some bicep curls. So this is called supination when you rotate the wrist forearm up, meaning face up, supine. So supinate, pronate, face down, face up, supination. So the biceps are mostly engaged in the action of, in the act of supinating as well. You want those good strong bicep muscles because you want to be able to carry the groceries from your car to your home. You want to be able to pick up your beautiful grandchildren, and every time you bend the elbow, that's a bicep. And that's an elbow flexion. Biceps are working. Pause at the peak of the contraction. You want to tie it in. Pause. We're going to go for one more. And slowly down. Now, what I'm going to do here is just bring my bench out a little bit, grab my balance pad, and for this, I'm going to put it underneath my feet. So I'm raising the feet up higher. And we're going to work on wrist flexion and wrist extension. The wrist forearm area is an osteoporotic site, so we want to build up the strength here. And the carpal tunnel syndrome, you're going to need to find out if you can do, well, you certainly cannot do wrist extension, but you need to find out about the wrist flexion as well. So I'm going to turn the arms over, elbows pushing down into the thighs, and keeping the forearms down on the thighs as well, but you don't want to hunch. You want to keep that chest up. And I'm going to curl at the wrist. So the wrists are not on my thighs. They're beyond my thigh, beyond my knees. Now this is wrist flexion, and I'm releasing into wrist extension. This is where the issue becomes for carpal tunnel. So carpal tunnel, let me show you. You go here to here, but can you really control it so you don't go down into wrist extension? That's the question I have for you to find out about. A lot of times people do this. Don't let that happen. Elbows stay down because the biceps are going to want to take over. One more. Wrist flexion. Very simple. Wrist extension. Elbows, forearms, let the wrists dangle. Hands dangle. So now I'm in flexion, lifting into extension. Exhaling. Take your time. So excellent for the wrists and forearms. One more. Lovely. And then we take it down. Okay, let's get set up for our workout with the weights. So let me get my first round set up here. My first block, sumo squats with lat pull down. So I'm going to grab my 20s for the sumo squat. And I have my 10s for the lat pull down. All right, here we go. First set facing you. Wide legs, toes same line as each other, weights resting on your thighs. Inhale, sit back, toes lifted. Exhale, up. Squeeze the butt. I'm a little too wide for this with the weight. There we go. I feel that right glute now. Inhale, exhale. Pelvic tuck at the top, squeezing the glute. Inhale, exhale, up, toes lifted. Strength training your shin muscles. Excellent for those knees in balance. Working those adductors. Exhale. I have 20 pounds in each hand. Yeah, I know. I have 2 different 20-pound weights. I messed up when I bought them. You might hear some motorcycles going by. It is South Beach. I'm going to go for 2 more. Exhale. This is where we're going to tie in our supersetting. Okay, set my weights down, crisscross them so they don't fall off. All right, 10 pounds. I'm going to stay upright now for my lat pull down. Watch it for TIA or stroke. Also medicated or not for hypertension. You know what you have to do, your back row. Scapulae are moving. Those are your shoulder blades. We have posterior deltoid working, tricep working, bicep, chest. It's all working front shoulder. These are compound movements. Core is working. Pull that belly button in. Thighs are working. 2 more. Wow, I feel this big time. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, pull. Ooh la la. All right, we're going to set it down for the moment. Grab the other weights. Go back to the sumo squat, right? That's your superset now. I'm going to turn to the side because I promised. Okay. There we go. A little bit wider. Yeah. Yeah. Good. There it is. Feeling the gluteals contract. So important for strong gluteals in the aging process, folks, because people will fall sometimes because of having weak gluteal muscles. Yes, I get quiet when I'm working. One more. Oh, yeah. Ooh, la, la. Okay. I'm going to set them down. And second set, lat pull down. I might as well face a different direction. Pulling. Pulling. Yeah, there's a push too. Get them up, right? That's where your chest comes in and the front delt, the pulling, the post delt, and the back muscles. Last one. Wow, holy smokes, and down. Okay, I'm going to set this down. Now the next round, I believe, yes, our elevated heel fit ball squats. along with incline chest press. So I'm going to set up my equipment here with you. Wedges set. And I'm going to change up the weights here. This is going to be, yeah, okay. So I'm going to bring my bench out a bit. And this is going to be with that incline chest press. Now let me move over a weight here. And my fit ball. Slide this out a little bit. Okay, here we go. 25 pounders for my elevated heel fit ball squat. With the ball, right? And the wedges. Back up onto the wedges. Weights come behind, not out in front. Squeezing the ball and leaning back. Inhale, exhale. Pausing at the peak of the contraction. Inhale down, exhale up. Oh yeah, I'm sweating. 7 out of 10 compound movements. This is another compound movement. Ooh la la. One more. Okay, now let me set the weight down here for a second. Place it down on the floor. Then I'm going to come onto the bench, incline, 18 pounders. Here we go. Aim it toward the ceiling, a fixed point on the ceiling. Exhale as you lift, as you push it. Do not let the chest collapse. Working front delt, pectoralis, tricep. Belly button in. One more. There we go. And I'm going to lift my feet onto the bench, bring the weights to the thighs to help myself roll up. Carefully setting the weight back down. Okay, another round, right? Get that ball, stay, please. Okay, here we go. $25 pounders, fit ball wedges. Elevated heel, fit ball squats. Leaning back. Puff up the chest, squeeze the ball. Are you breathing? Stay hydrated, folks. Pause at the peak of the contraction. Squeeze. One more. Wow. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, now, bear with me a moment. Let me put this down and return these weights over here. And I will be back to the bench. Let's do it. Incline chest press. The bench is filled with sweat. Okay. Puff up and up we go. Wide grip. Exhale up. Hit that spot on the ceiling without collapsing the chest. Do not let the abdominals pull your chest down into an abdominal crunch. You got this. Exhale. Wow. 2 more. 1 more. Exhale. Push it up there. Okay, feet to the bench, weights to the thighs. Carefully roll it. And I'm going to set these down. And let me just move that bench back in. Set the wedges to the side. Next round is going to be the Romanian deadlift along with that military press. So I'm going to get my weights. I want to readjust the bench here for the moment. Be prepared for another exercise. And I'm going to pull these over. So I have my weights now for everything that I need for both the Romanian deadlift and the military press. However, I want to level up. So I've been doing the Romanian deadlift for a while with 20-pound weights. I recently went up to an additional pound. I'm going up now in another 1/4 of a pound, just to show you that these tiny increments make a big difference in a health outcome and having an effect, an overall effect on your health. We're always thinking muscle and bone strength, muscle and bone health. So here we go. First set facing you, all right? Feet wider than the hips. I'm gonna come a little closer to the camera. There we go, camera adjusted. And here we go. So remember, back spine, hyperkyphosis. I told you, you folks, I want you to focus on squat work, especially up against the wall. Unless you've been told you can do a forward flexion of the spine. Even a little short one is fine, but only if it's appropriate for you. Make sure you pause at the peak of the contraction. Boom, here it is. Keep that chin up. Please watch it with hypertension, vertigo, and GERD, chin up. Whether you're medicated or not for that hypertension, folks. Wow. Yike. 1 more. And exhale up, ooh la la. So now this means that I'm now up to 16¼ pounds for my military press, AKA shoulder press. Here we go. Belt abduction, adduction. Those of you I told you about the modifications. 1 more. Whoa. And slowly down. And back to my Romanian deadlift. Yep, you get winded, folks. So far, they've all been compound movements. Okay, what are we doing? Romanian deadlift. Okay, here we go. From the side. See that posterior pelvic tilt? The pelvic tuck, super important. Weights in front, very close to my legs and thighs. Exhale, toes lifted. I have to remind myself of that. Chin up. Well, sweating is just so excellent for you. So detoxifying. I'm going to do 2 more. Exhale. All the way, hamstrings, glutes, back extensors. Holy smokes, last one. Hold there. I'm going to actually put this down here. And military press. Up. Knees are bent. Athletic ready stance. Feel that quarter pounding. I really mean it. Wow. One more. And down. Okay, so now I'm going to crisscross them so they don't roll. I'm going to remove the weights, but I'm going to put them back on because now we're going to do the tricep dips along with the bicep curls. I'm really sweaty, so bear with me just a second as I do a little of this. Okay. So I promised you variations on that tricep dip. So we're going to come down to the floor. I'm going to come a little forward here. I want you to see the hands. Yeah, okay. Now, obviously not the carpal tunnel, right? You folks have your tricep kickback. So we're going to puff up the chest and bend the elbow, straighten the arm. Bend the elbow, straighten the arm. One more like this. Then I'm going to show you the next version of a tricep dip using the bench. So we come to the bench, hands alongside of you. You pull the butt away from the bench. You're off the bench. Knees remain bent. So that's one way. Legs out, full out. You just get a little closer. There we go. Keeping the torso close to the bench. Compound movement. One more. Oh, gosh. Now, the next exercise is technically not considered a compound movement. I'm leveling up here as well on the basic bicep curl. I went from 15 to 16 and decided I can use a little hint more. So let's go with that quarter pound. Stand close. Shoulders in place. Here we go. Supine. So this is supination, pronation. My glasses are sliding off my nose. Yeah, it's ugly face time. One more. One more. Okay. Again. Here we go. Tricep dips. Triceps help those pushing movements with the chest and the front delt. One more. Oh, gosh. Where's that last one? And ooh-la-la, bicep curls. I want to lift weights, folks. Okay. A little skip in the film, in the video. Again, we're under a heat index. And I'm filming this, by the way, at 11 o'clock at night to try to bypass the heat. However, no getting around it. But better than the heat of the sun. Knees are soft. Belly button is in. One more. And so now we're going to do the wrist flexion and extension. And I'm going to tie in my balance pad because again, I'm going to lift the feet up. Sit to the side of it. So I'm going to bring over 8-pounders for the wrist extension. Just tuck them underneath the bench. And 12-pounders for the wrist flexion. Carpal tunnel syndrome, we know for sure. Wrist extension, not good. Just have to be super careful with that wrist flexion, which is why I ask you to go seek more advice, all right? So here we go. Elbows, forearms down, wrists beyond knees. I'm gonna go down, curl, wrist flexion. That's extension, right? Chest is up. Those elbows down because the biceps are going to want to take this. Shoulders back and down, chin up. Are you breathing? Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, that's it. And now, let me grab my 8s. Hello, get over here. No, you're not going to come underneath. Okay. There we go. All right. So, wrist extension, 8-pounders. I just find this so challenging. I find all of it challenging. That's the fun of it. This one, wow. One more. Okay. Wrist flexion. So do roll down into the fingers. You don't have to. Gosh, sweat just dripping down into my mouth. Whoa, one more. Hello. Ooh, okay. And the 8s. That's how you work. Superset, folks, back to back. Ooh. One more. Oh my goodness. Ooh. All right. Well, that's what we have for you today, folks. Now, please, I'm going to invite you to go to that warm up and cool down video. Please go there right now and do your stretches. I'm going to provide it also on at the end of this video. So you can go right to the warm up cool down. You can interchange them. So until I see you again, stay hydrated, eat your greens, eat your beans, and please be well. Thank you so much for your support, folks. Please, if you do like the content, I would invite you please to subscribe to the channel. It's free. Please share and maybe give it a thumbs up, even a kind comment. If you are interested in virtual personal training with me from a senior fitness perspective, like the work we do here, then feel free to contact me by way of the contact form on my website. That's boomerandbeyondwellness.com. I'll repeat it, boomerandbeyondwellness.com. I also offer services as a virtual hatha yoga instructor. I do teach as well virtually chair, yoga, chair exercise, and on-site in Miami Beach for massage therapy, including geriatric and palliative care massage. Thank you all so much and stay in very good health.